So this is the 2012 inaugural wintertrekking.com, at least the Ontario chapter, group event outing to Algonquin Provincial Park. And we're happened to be on the Track and Tower Trail, just exiting from the Mew Lake Campground. Thought we'd take you on a bit of a walk down to the scenic lookout where it intersects the Highland Backpacking Trail. Overall, it's been a great weekend. Today's a lovely day. It's nice and sunny out. Had a little snow this morning. Everybody showed up for the event that said they were coming, save one person who couldn't come due to a family matter that popped up that prevented him from coming out. But other than that, you know, everybody who signed up said that they showed. A pair of people, or three in particular, but two groups, only stayed the one night. But heck, coming out for one night out into the back country is way better than sitting at home in front of the idiot tube. All in all, I would say this weekend was a great success.
So I can show the wrong way, the unsafe ways of doing it maybe. That's the way battlefield surgeons used to do amputations. They cut part way through the bone and then snap it. Real quick.
No, exactly. If you're not too far in, you're close enough that you
So, why don't you tell us about this duck blind shelter you got over here for a second?
Well, the duck blind started life as a weekender, a woods weekender tent, which I got for 50 bucks. And it had a frame on the outside, suspending it. So following some recommendations from some of the winter trekkers, I shortened the frame and put it on the inside.
Novel idea.
And to the door, I sewed shut the one side of the door and put a J-zipper in it. That's just simply a long zipper, and I just was able to weasel it over.
What's the footprint size, like 9 by 9-ish?
8 foot by 8 foot. It's supposed to be 9 by 9. Trust me, it's 8 by 8.
Well, of course, that's all those nominal measurements, right?
Yeah.
So it looks like it served you well for over the number of years.
Yeah, this is I think the second or third year I've been playing with it. I've had it sitting in the backyard for winter, and it holds up fine. I got two stove jacks, one at the back, one at the front. That's this welding blanket I used for the stove jack, and some high temperature gasket sealer around the edges of the hole, and that keeps it from fraying.
Yep.
It's not pretty, it works.
Function over form.
And I had some plastic, clear plastic I was able to incorporate into little windows so I can take a peek out.
Yep.
See if he's sneaking up on me. And put some tabs on it for tie outs. Took the original poly tarp floor out of it. It was kind of shot anyway. Got some fabric from Lens Mills. It's jacket fabric or something, some kind of synthetic. Sewed it on the bottom. So if you have your own sewing machine, you can do all kinds of things.
That's exactly it. Well, excellent stuff. We shall check on you tomorrow, see how you make out.
Certainly.
Arborist saw.
That looks like a mean weapon, too.
Well, it saves a lot of cutting because it cuts twice for every stroke.
Oh, it cuts on the push and pull?
Nope, just there's double teeth on it.
Ah.
So,
Well, let's see how it works. Good stuff. So now this looks like a brand new out of the box snow tracker. Is that the case?
pretty much. Pretty much. We've had it for about 4 weeks at home, but there hasn't been any snow to use it, so it's our first time.
Yeah, that's the story of all the people in southern Ontario this year. We had to travel hundreds of kilometers north to find snow.
And lots of it.
Lots of it. And boy did we find lots of it. Off of the packed trail, it's like 2 feet deep, so, you know, snowshoes are your best friend. Cool beans. Alright, I'll come back in the morning and check on you, see how you made it on your first night. Alrighty, next morning over here, how was your first night in your brand new tent?
It was good. It was a little cool when the fire went out, but all said, we all survived, and Ron got up first and started the fire, so we were nice and toasty this morning.
Yeah. Would you guys...
Bacon and eggs, and ready to go.
Cool. Were you guys going to do anything differently for tonight?
Yes, we're going to wear hats. The novice campers here didn't wear our toques last night, so we're going to do that. And,
There you go.
Rearrange a little bit, but yeah.
Cool. So you got nice and toasty warm, all your stuff dried out?
We did. Everything's all dry. All the kids' wet clothes from yesterday all got hung up and dried last night. So
Good stuff. So now that you've been out on this adventure, you're going to do it again sometime?
oh yeah, I think so.
All right. Thanks for your time. Okay, so here we have Canoe Al. So why don't you tell us about your setup over here?
Well, the tent I bought at an auction sale in the fall for $7, and I think that's all it's worth.
Well, it must be worth more than that. You're using it for winter camping.
Well, this third try I've used on it, but my zipper's gone on it now. Went on me last week, but I was able to fix it. But it's gone again now, and it's pretty well rotten. There's not much. I waterproofed it, and it's waterproof, but the material is pretty rotten. I can't do much with it. I tried to put grommets in it, and they pull out, and so on.
So we got the
40 or 50 years old.
we got the makings of a hot stove sticking out the side there. I'm just missing a section of chimney or so.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that on after as soon as I got a steel pole in the truck with some wire on it, and I'll put my pipe up, and I got them.
So I noticed here you,
I guess if you call them.
yeah. I noticed here you chose to excavate down to the bare ground. Any particular reason for that?
Because of the wood stove, and I use spikes for holding my tent down, and the door especially, and the ground is not frozen.
Cool.
12-inch spike will go just down with one tap.
Yeah, I found the same with my particular tent.
Yeah.
Now you were out last weekend in some pretty good temperatures. How did the tent fare?
Oh, tent did well with the wood stove in it. I had 24 below on Saturday night and 14 below on Sunday night.
There you go.
So I survived, but I got a good mattress and a good
Sleeping bag?
sleeping bag, and with the wood stove, there's no problem really.
Yeah. And you and I were out here last night too, so that was a bit of a fun, but it was only sedate of like -8 or 9, I think was the overnight low.
-9, they said, yeah.
But, you know, still enough. It sure beats, you know, sitting at home.
Oh God, yes, I could live in this place, yeah. I figured out what it would cost to live here full time. Just a tad over $3,000 a year.
Well, yeah, just in park permits, but you still got all of your food to worry about.
Well, that's rent.
That's,
a lot of people pay that much in property tax.
That's true.
I could live here all year round, but I got a wife and children and grandchildren in Lindsay, so I like to spend a lot of time with them. But this is my favorite pastime, and in the summer it's canoe camping. I canoe and camp. And
there you go. And you're a spry young guy too, aren't you? You're a young guy, aren't you?
I'll be 71 in May.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
I retired about 11 years ago.
There you go. All right. We'll check on you a little later on in the weekend, see how you're making out.
Okay. Very good.
Continuing on with the tour of everybody's setups. This happens to be mine, so I'll just walk around and give you a tour of my little camp. This is my roll-up toboggan based on the King UQ design of taking the crazy carpets and attaching them together with grommets to make it longer, and using a couple of pieces of 1/4-inch plywood for some stiffeners and rigidity. It does a job okay, but I found if you have to navigate a tight turn, it doesn't quite do the job very well. So we either have to upgrade to something like a regular toboggan out of a plastic, or find some other solution. This is my canvas wedge tent that supports my hammock inside, and I'll be talking about that in a minute when I go over insulation. It's kind of a tight little site here. I had to dig down almost 2 feet of snow to get down to the ground here to provide a little bit of windbreak, and so that I could get my tent securely anchored to the ground. Over here is my shovel and my snowshoes. These snowshoes are an interesting story over here. They're what's known as Carey beaver tail snowshoes. They were made by a guy called the Snowshoe Man, Jack Carey, out in Newfoundland. And it's an interesting story in them. Basically, the frame there is made out of a spring steel rod, and the orange webbing there is like a 400-pound test polypropylene braided line that they use to make fishnets out in the East Coast. Now, I've upgraded the binding that since came with it, so that gives it a little more adjustability. But these things are amazingly light, and they do a pretty good job. But they look like a modified bear paw. But so far, so good. I really like them. Everybody else has been asking about them this weekend, so I can't complain on that one. Over here is indoor-outdoor thermometer. Looks like the overnight low got down to about maybe -5. It was supposed to get colder, but can't complain on that one. Over here is where I hang up my Fisker splitting axe as part of my chopping station and wood processing area. And this over here is my my saw, which is a Irwin Marathon Pro Touch coarse cut carpenter saw. I'll give you a close-up of the blade geometry here. You can see how it's got fine teeth, and it's got the gullet every once in a while there. Over here is remnants of my wood pile that I've been processing. This is my chopping area. Okay, we're inside of my shelter down here. It's quite warm. I've got the morning fire going here. I've had breakfast already, and everything's quite good there. And according to my stove thermometer there, I'm in an optimal burn zone. Handy little gadget to have to make sure you're not getting any creosote built up in your pipes.